Hi everyone, welcome back to another video in the Web Security Academy series. In today's video, we'll be covering lab number 5 in the Information Disclosure module titled Information Disclosure in Version Control History. If you do not have an account on the Web Security Academy, you can get one by visiting the URL portsfigure.net/websecurity and clicking on the sign up button. I already have an account and I am logged in, so to access the exercise, I'm going to click on Academy. Select all labs, and then do search on information disclosure, vulnerabilities, and go to lab number 5 titled Information Disclosure in Version Control History. Alright, let's get started. This lab discloses sensitive information via its version control history. To solve the lab, obtain the password for the administrator user, then log in and delete Carlos's account. Alright, so the target goal over here is to get access to the version control history, and then from there gain access to the administrator's password and log in as the administrator and then delete the Carlos user. Alright, let's access the lab. Now notice over here, this is the built-in browser in Burp, and so all my requests are already being passed in my Burp proxy. Okay, so since we're looking for version control history, then I'm going to look for endpoints that could potentially have that history. So the first one that I'm going to look at is .git and see if that's an endpoint in the application, and it is. So if we look at this one over here and look at logs over here, and then maybe refs or heads, and a master, you could see over here in the log, it was done by Carlos, and in the previous commit, it looks like they removed the admin password from the config. And so the admin password is in the previous commit of the application. And so what we're going to do is we're going to actually go back to the main ones, copy this URL, and then open a new terminal, go to desktop, and then from there do wget-r and the URL of the application. And what that'll do is it'll copy this entire thing right over here. And then we're going to need some kind of application that is able to read GitHub files, and you'll see that in a bit. Okay, so you could see over here it's 0A17, so if we do ls-la, you could see over here it's this file right here. Now, what I'm going to do is I've installed an application, I believe it was called Gitcola, and open this one right over here. And then we're going to go to commit and then click on undo last commit. And then from there, let's look at the conf file, and here we go. You could see the admin password is in there. So let's copy it. And go back to our browser. Go back to the application. And then go to my account. And then try to log in with that password. So when you commit something to GitHub, even if it's not exposed to the internet, you need to completely delete that history, or what you could do is just change the administrator password. Let's see if they changed it. And it looks like they did not. And so we gained access to the administrator. Now we're going to go to admin panel and then click on delete to delete the Carlos user. And here we go. It says, congratulations, you solved the lab. Alright, so we successfully completed the exercise by exploiting the vulnerability manually. Now we usually script it in Python, but because this requires viewing Git files, which requires another application, it doesn't make sense to script it in Python. And so for this lab, we won't be scripting the exercise in Python.